Greetings from New Jersey Institute of Technology. I'm Mike Smullen, Executive Director of the Alumni Relations Office at NJIT. Thanks so much for joining us for today's live virtual tour. I want to introduce our tour guide today, Juliana Schlitting. Juliana, hi and welcome.
Hello.
So, Juliana, before we get kicked off, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm a junior student here at NJIT. I'm an industrial design and history double major. I work here at admissions as the operations lead among the student ambassadors, as well as giving tours and things like that. I am really involved on campus, especially in Radio Club. I'm on the executive board for that, and I am in a sorority, Sigma Psi Kappa, in Greek life. That's my whole experience here at NJIT.
Hey, that's great. You know, Greek life is going to be celebrating a centennial next year. Please remember that because you will be hearing more about it in the very near future. Juliana, thanks so much for agreeing to do this. This is a real pleasure for us to host. For all the folks who are watching, this is our very first live virtual campus tour for alumni in general. We welcome feedback. Please leave comments, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you happen to be viewing. We want to hear from you. How did it go? What would you like to see? And remember, any of the parts of the tour that we walk past today can also be gone over in more depth in the future, which is exactly what we intend to do. So if you see something that strikes your interest, let us know, and we're going to go pursue it. All right, so without further ado, Juliana, I'm going to pop up the tour on the screen. I'm going to pop off myself, and you should be ready to get us started. All right, so let's take a look around here. I think we can see it. And Juliana, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, awesome. This is usually where we start our tours. Obviously, this semester the virtual tours are a bit different than our in-person tours we usually give. But this is where we start, right in the center of this side of campus, around Fenster Hall, in front of the campus center. So this whole tour will be kind of overviewing what the campus looks like, as of right now, like this semester with all the renovations and things that have happened and are going on. See, there's Fenster Hall right there where I am right now, in the admissions office. And then we can head inside the campus center, and I'll show you. This was actually taken, I think, during like the whole COVID situation. So you can see there's still students here, still students on campus hanging out, except everything's set up socially distant, all new tables and everything. So it's still really great that we can be on campus and we can still be involved here and doing things, but in a safe manner, of course. So in this campus center, first floor, obviously this is the most busy place in probably almost all the campus. There's always people going through here, lots of places to eat, dining here, as well as lots of spaces that are used, communal spaces. There's always people hanging out, doing homework. Campus center is a great place to be. I don't know if there's anything, if as alumni you that is new, but in the campus center, other than those communal spaces and stuff, it's always great that we do have a lot of new spaces for our extracurricular clubs, new offices, especially like me in radio. I was very happy we moved up to the 4th floor, got a brand new office, brand new recording space, which maybe we can show eventually. As well as the game room downstairs is still, not this semester with the changes, but usually a very, very popular place, as well as the pub. And then next we're going to go into the atrium, where a lot of our events usually happen. Now that we're limited with indoor events, this is currently being used, I know, as a space for socially distanced classrooms and socially distanced indoor events. So you can see our kind of setup that's going on right now, but the atrium always looks different. There's always something going on in there. So there's always new setups being created and things like that. Even anywhere from like extracurricular, like the Student Activities Council doing like a bouncy castle thing on other semesters, or even like professional development, networking events, things like that. So there's always stuff going on here. Now we can head outside. This is going to be my favorite shot of campus. The two greens in the middle of campus here, where you can kind of see everything as you look around. And as you look around, you can see all of our buildings, especially some of the impressive new buildings, like the Wellness and Events Center that was on the other side when we started rotating, which I'll show more closely as we go. And then obviously some of these buildings are some older buildings. You've seen them before, like Hooperian Hall, Tiernan Hall, although we're always having renovations with the lecture halls and the classrooms and things like that. So now we can move to the next spot over there to get another view of the greens. And even now with what's going on, there's still students hanging out outside. We have a tent up that's set up for outdoor events. So certain events like tabling and things like that are still happening with our extracurriculars. Um, and it's really great, like a really great place. Obviously, everyone's still hanging out. This whole new renovation, when I was first coming to school, like 2 years ago, there was still a renovation happening with the soccer field and all of these communal spaces to sit outside. So it's really great. And now we can go forward to the next area closer to the library. Of course, the library is always a great resource for students with the the printing, the computer lab that's there that has access to all the software you would need for any of the majors pretty much. I literally go there to do most of my work when you need that area to focus, as well as those labs in the Martin Tuckman School of Management. I love highlighting those on the tours because especially those Bloomberg terminals is a really great thing NJIT has done to get students, not just business majors, like certified in those terminals with great like hands-on experience right off the bat. Okay, and then there's also lots of communal places to study in the library and things like that. So all that is always great. And then we can move towards the makerspace. Now I know the makerspace might be newer for some people listening. The makerspace is even new to me as they're still building more and more, adding on to it, more renovations. And I believe the makerspace and the Wellness and Events Center both cost almost the same. Even though the Wellness Event Center is giant and great, the makerspace, not as big, packed full of so many tools and equipment. So we can go in there now so you can kind of get a sneak peek of what the makerspace looks like. I love the makerspace is literally, it's like a playground for engineers, and I'm an industrial designer, so I also love going in there and prototyping. So it is a really, really, really great resource for students. Especially like even in my first semester, I was 3D printing in there. We had a 3D modeling, 3D printing challenge. So it's really great to get that immediate hands-on experience as a student, taking what you're learning in lecture and bringing it to like the hands-on skills. And as we move further into the makerspace, we can kind of move forward and look around. All of this equipment is really like the industry standard equipment, like that as a student, as a professional, we'll be using like the equipment for the rest of our lives, essentially. Even in my lecture I had last night in my modeling and prototyping class, he gave us a whole lecture on all the different types of 3D printers and different types of CNCing and things like that. So this is really this is the place I would go to get all that work done. I actually have an assignment to 3D model something this week, so I'll be in there, as well as using the laser cutter this week. So it's, like I said, a great resource that's free to all students of any major. So it's a great, like I said, playground to kind of try things out, prototype, all that. And then we can go into the next spot here. Is actually, I hadn't seen it until right now, like when I was looking through this tour. This is the new addition that they're adding, this like makerspace, like annex and area where there's like seating, as well as more places to work and places to meet. So this is a really great addition. They're always like adding more and more additions to this. I know some of the people like involved in this makerspace stuff are really ambitious with what they're doing, and it's really great. Like I said, the makerspace is really, it's really helping my like design degree. Like I'm immediately learning and getting practice in what I'm going to be doing in the professional world. So it's a really great tool. And then we can move on again towards the center of campus again, I believe is the next spot. We'll be passing through, normally I'd go through the residence halls if you were prospective students. But those are still, there's still people living on campus and things going on, so it's really fun. So now this is right next to the Wellness and Events Center. So like I said, that's one of our newer buildings. I still say it has that new building smell inside. But the Wellness and Events Center has all of our different athletic equipment and fields and all that sort of thing. So if we kind of go inside, actually we'll go to the soccer field next, I believe. So to get a great look right in the center of the soccer field. Obviously this was new with the Wellness and Events Center built at the same time. I know the first soccer game that we had, the stadium was like packed. Everyone was so excited to see this new field. And especially at night with all the lights on, it's really nice that it's in the middle of campus. It kind of opened up the campus. So it's really nice standing in the middle, kind of seeing everything, seeing these great views. And with most things on campus, especially with the Wellness Event Center, if the team isn't using it, students are usually generally allowed to use it. So even when there's not like a soccer team practicing there, the baseball team running their sprints or something, there's always students in there, playing frisbee, playing soccer, playing whatever. I've seen other teams practicing there too, like the dance team and things like that. So it's a great addition to the school. It's used by so many people. And now we can go inside the WEC, the Wellness and Events Center. This is the main through of the building. Especially right here, if you can see through those windows, it's a little far from here, but that's our gym on campus. We have still the 2 gyms open to all students on campus. This one here is very nice. I use it all the time. I'm going to use it today after work. But there's treadmills, different cardio equipment, different. There are free weights, but it has a big focus on machine weights. But I think it's really great to use. The treadmills are actually pushed right up against the window, so as you're running, you get a full view of campus. So it makes the run a little more entertaining. As well as the other gym on campus still has a lot that has more focus of those free weights, and so we kind of have something for everybody. And there are a lot of things in this building, not just the things we're going to show you here, but there's also we have a very large pool for the swim team. We have racquetball courts you can rent out. A lot of different practice basketball courts besides the main one that we'll show you, so that's where students will go and play basketball when the teams aren't there. There's another soccer field turf inside in one of the upper floors. There's really everything you would need to be an athlete is here, so it's a great building with so many resources for students. If we go next, we can show you the entrance of the Wellness and Events Center. Besides athletics, there are a few nice spaces that are more all-purpose. Like in here, through those windows, is one of our general purpose rooms where a lot of the PE classes happen, where some of the clubs, I know I see archery team in there all the time, shooting in the general purpose room. And then if we go down the next hallway, it shows some of the conference halls we have too. So there's some of those there. And then there's some larger lecture style kind of ones too. I actually had one of my freshman seminar classes in there for a presentation, so they are used. And then next we'll go to the basketball court to get our, wonderful shot right here in the middle of where everything goes down. All of the games are still free for students to go see. So there's always the stadiums are always filled with students, as well as having that, dance team, pep band, cheerleaders. It really does make the game so exciting to go see. I love going to see volleyball when it's volleyball season, but I know basketball is another one of our very popular ones. And this room is also, it can be a multi-purpose room. We've had large-scale events in here, one of the when as a freshman, the opening ceremonies and things like that for becoming a student happens in here, as well as if we go up onto the track. On the track, we usually have our in-person career fair. Of course, this year it was virtual, a lot of things are moving. But the track usually is filled with different companies advertising their company, employers looking for students. Because in that case, the NJIT students are the hot commodity that they're there to try to get some, interns, things like that. And students will come in their suits and do, with their resumes and do all that. So the track, when it's not being used by the track team, is also, a very useful place we use and we have events. As well as the major minor fair and things like that. All of our large scale events happen in this building. Same thing with open houses, which I know a lot about since I work the open houses and admissions, but we always have fun with our large scale events. Right now everything's virtual, but hopefully we'll eventually move back to all these fun events. And now we can go out to the next hallway here. This is the other side of the Wellness and Events Center, our really pretty hallway. I like doing tours in the afternoon here when the light's coming in nice. And then down this hallway and to the right, which you can't see in this picture, but I promise it's there. We have a really big gym there that's specifically for student athletes. So, NJIT being Division I sports teams, we do have all of these great resources for student athletes. That gym there, the coaches will bring them in and they can do their work in there. There's the little ticket booth there for our sporting events and things like that. And we can exit the building here and be on Locke and Warren. There are, as this turns across the street, there are more NJIT buildings, as well as one of the parking decks is over there. I think this is the new one. I always get them mixed up, but the new parking deck over there, as well as some of these buildings are specifically for research over here. And then, of course, I love this corner with because it has the Newark subway, the light rail, because it's really, really great just going right from campus to, Newark Penn Station, Newark Broad Station. I travel a lot on the weekends and stuff, getting to, visit Hoboken, New York City, whatever. So I'm so grateful that this is right on campus. So I'm fond of this street for that reason. But and we'll continue to the Greek Village. Like I said, I am in Greek life, so I'm very involved. I love. We hold events on the green back here, especially like we had like a barbecue, whatever, at the beginning of last semester before everything happened, and it's so great, like actually getting to like bond with all the other orgs since we're all living like around each other right here. And Greek Life is still having events happening. We have so many virtual events going on right now. So if any Greek Life alum are out there, we're still having a great time. And here, this building, obviously, is the Honors Building. The Honors Building, one of our newest residence halls, is very, very nice. There's also classrooms and communal spaces in there for honor students, as well as offices and things like that. And then, yeah, we can move on to the next spot. And this next spot is a very, very popular corner for, oh no, actually not at the corner yet, but Smash Burger, great view right there. That was actually, I don't know if that's new for you guys, but it used to be a pizza place there, but the Student Senate polled the students, since we already had a pizza place, to be like, oh, what kind of restaurant would you guys want? And Smash Burger actually won the vote, so that's why we have our own Smash Burger right there. And now as we go forward, this should be the very exciting corner that I always talk about on my tour, because there's so much going on at this corner. First thing that's in view right there is the Life Sciences building. That building actually inside has a lot of great renovated spaces, modern, cool looking spaces that are for a lot of work, research, meeting with other people, a lot of communal spaces that are, designed to get work done, to get fun projects moving, as well as there's a lot of labs in that building and things like that. Here's our other parking deck, still hosting our financial aid department, registrar, bursar, a lot of offices over here, as well as our two upperclassmen residence halls, Oak and Laurel, which are still there. Still a great, like, everyone's still always trying to get into Oak for the apartment style. I always hear people talking about that. And like I said, there's still people living in all the residence halls with everything that's going on. And there's still a presence on campus, obviously safe, but, and now we can move next to the next corner. Yeah, so one of the buildings here actually had some renovations. This electronics building, they actually were working on some of the labs in there and things like that. And then as we keep looking around at this corner, obviously we still have our bookstore there. My parents keep getting JIT presents for Christmas because it's so convenient for me to get them stuff from right there. But, and there's still obviously the best way to get textbooks and things online. And I actually get a lot of supplies since I am a design major and I work in studio there. I can go right outside the building to get some of the supplies I need. And as we look around, the structures that are here on this road are actually structures. This is where you can see it now. These are actually structures designed by architecture students. It's kind of a test to show if their designs actually can stand up for a year. So a few of them that are like, I guess, winners of their competition or things like that, or they're chosen. I just know they're specifically built here to be tested, and those are replaced as often as possible. I think like each class does different ones, and we can move a little closer to my favorite building, Weston Hall, there with the ramp going up to it, since I am just moving into my studio now. Since things have been converged, we can kind of choose if we're remote or in person. And I'm actually moving all of my toolbox, my hands-on supplies today to go move in. My beautiful view of from the seventh floor, which I have to take a 360 picture of that because I think it's really great to show off that view of the city. Right where I'm sitting and working, I get to look at. We also have a lot of great resources in that building, including things like a 3D printing lab, laser cutting lab, wood shop. So things where as soon as I finish with the design or 3D model, I can go right to kind of working with it in different labs there, as well as our library there that has a lot of great resources. Colton Hall here that we're looking at, civil engineering building. They still always have the extracurriculars, like using the labs down there, like the concrete canoe and things like that. And if we go forward, I think we'll get a better view of the microfabrication center. That's what I was talking about, that renovation. As it turns around, that entrance right there, I remember was being renovated last year. Right there, woo, and the nice shot of that. And I know a lot of things inside there were getting renovated and worked on and things like that. And as we kind of move forward or look over, okay, well, I said the Weston Hall was my favorite building. Maybe CKB is, just because CKB is still so gorgeous. This used to be a high school for Newark students, but now NJIT has it. Central King building, I'm so glad they left the outside like pretty much untouched, because even as you get close to it, you can kind of see even they still have like little gargoyles and stuff at the top that look like teachers with globes and things like that. So I really love the architecture of this building. But on the inside, as we can go inside now, they really did renovate a lot of the spaces in here that are really nice communal spots. This is just an example. There's so many more in this building too, of spots where, and there's usually more furniture, but I guess it was been socially distanced. But lots of tables and things like that. On a normal day, if you just go in there, like for a regular semester, it's always filled with students, a mixture of hanging out, doing work. And then there, behind those glass, that's one of those rooms that students can rent out and do work in there. Those breakout rooms, they call it, where even the glass is the right kind of like setting where you can take a marker and write all over the walls and write all over the whiteboards and pretend you're in like a cop movie or something, doing some big investigation. So it's really great, using those spaces for collaborating and things like that. And as we go further into the Central King building, by the way, I love that they left some of the brick exposed, things like that. I share all these little details just because, as a designer, I kind of get excited about that. But looking around, this is our tutoring centers. We do have, the math tutoring center, writing, physics, chemistry. These are all great tutoring opportunities for students to keep up with the challenges that NJIT throws at them with academics. So all these great programs, we have those resources for success. So my favorite thing about the math tutoring center is you can come in not specifically having questions, but you can kind of sit and do your work. And as you come across an issue, you can raise your hand and have a tutor come help you. So it's very helpful if you don't exactly know what you're confused about, you just know you're confused. So I used the math tutoring center a lot. I'm fortunately finally done with all my math courses. But this is a great resource for me, as well as you can schedule one-on-one appointments. So all of these resources are really great for students for our success in academics, especially since NJIT pushes math courses to be so challenging, to be so kind of prestigious, like a trusted degree from NJIT, showing that we really put our all. And then the last thing I want to show here is the Central King Auditorium. I had actually never seen this until now. This is one of those fun spots in the Central King building. The other fun spot I'd say is the abandoned pool. Since it used to be a high school, these things are still here. And it seems like NJIT hasn't picked anything to do with it yet. They were using it as a space for some research project. That's kind of what's on the ground now. But this is another great room, great feature of NJIT that kind of has so much character to it. So much of the architecture is still here. Older architecture, older space. It even has like the upper floor like that a theater has. So hopefully something eventually happens with it, or at least hopefully I can kind of sneak in and go see it. But it's just one of our great features, kind of little thing I wanted to share that's fun. And then if we go back to Fenster Hall, that brings us to the beginning of our tour. I hope if people have questions, I am so eager to answer your questions. I do this every day, giving tours and stuff. And let me know if there's anything new that I didn't highlight that I could kind of tell you about.
So Juliana, first, let me thank you so much for doing this. That's, I think, an excellent summary. This is such a challenge, right? Trying to get all this stuff packed into such a short period of time. What are some of the things that we missed that you think people might be interested in finding out more about in a future tour?
I mean, definitely we can. I'd be eager to do one of those like makerspace, more in-depth tours, just because there's a lot of stuff that we didn't show, a lot of those specific fabrication rooms and equipment, as well as I'm dying to show off my studio. Like I even said on the tour, because I'm just so impressed with the view that I have since I've been there a lot this week. Kind of, it's growing on me. So maybe showing some of the resources in Weston Hall. But like I said, I'm biased because I'm a design major. There's definitely a couple fun spots to show.
I do want to let everybody on the tour know. So we plan to do many more of these. Juliana told me about this. I had actually never seen one of those studios before, and just from her description alone, it got me really excited because it's not the sort of thing that you would see just by coming through campus. So Juliana, I think has our 360-degree camera, and she's going to do us
Yep.
a solid and take some photos from there. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, definitely that studio view is kind of a really big view of Newark up there, especially in the middle of the day with the blue sky. It's so pretty.
Juliana, I've got to ask, where are you right now? Because I see some photos in the back there. I'm actually going to make you full screen while you answer this, just so
Oh,
people can see what I'm talking about.
lots of NJIT kind of stuff behind me because I'm actually in our. This is where the virtual tour, not virtual tour. Sorry, this is where our on-campus tours usually start when we could be indoors. This is our media room from admissions. This is where my tour started when I was actually a high school senior coming to see NJIT. We pull down our projector, do some presentations, and then we get to walk around campus. But this is filled with like the walls filled with all this NJIT stuff. So I figured it'd be a fun spot to stand, kind of talk.
It's an awesome place. I'm going to have to steal that for a virtual background.
Yeah.
So you're actually in the room that's right in front of us on the screen right now, right?
Yes, that red bar on that window, I am standing inside that window.
Look at that. All right, so Juliana, you mentioned the studio. You mentioned makerspace is something very detailed. Was there anything that you've started to visit or started to see that's popular on tours that maybe you wouldn't have expected before?
Do you mean like for now that it's virtual and stuff
Yeah.
like that? I mean, now that I can actually, the tour that we give shows the game room and things like that. That's an example of something we usually can't show because we don't walk all the way downstairs and walk all the way upstairs. So that's a thing that I like to show off, the game room with the 6-lane bowling alley. That always impresses people that we have our own bowling alley. And it's kind of funny because it looks like it was copy and pasted from a bowling alley somewhere else because it even still has some of the names from the old bowling alley it was from. That's a great place I love to show. I'm dying to show the spaces for the clubs on the 4th floor of Campus Center. That's one of those things I want to show because I'm executive board of radio club. We got to move from the basement all the way up to a fancy, office space right next to Student Senate and the newspaper and the yearbook. So now we're all working way closer together with each other. And we have a wonderful recording booth that's even a separate room, like from our main room, where we have like soundproofing and microphones and a whole setup. That's a spot I do want to show. And I like being able to show spots in the WEC too that are usually we don't walk fully inside the WEC, like around and around when we're on campus, but I get to show a lot of those highlights too.
So something I want to let our audience know is that this tour is actually going to be made available to you on the conclusion of this event. You'll receive a link from me, an email, and that link will allow you to walk around campus yourself. And you will also actually be able to invite your friends to join you. So one of the features of this new tour setup that we're doing is that we want to enable you to go and explore yourself. And then when you're interested in finding out more about something, myself and the alumni office, Juliana, and admissions, essentially the entire university is here to get you engaged with campus. We know this is a tough time, right? Normally, I'd love to see you back on campus. Maybe that's not going to happen as much, maybe not quite as in the near future as I'd hope. This is our next best thing. But what I want to ask everybody here watching is to help us promote this. This recording will be made available. The virtual walkthrough will be made available. Share this with your friends. Put it out on social media. Help us spread the word. And in the future, let us know where you want to go because we will make sure that's the place we add to our next tour. In the meantime, I do want to encourage everybody, if you have any last minute questions, please feel free to type now. Juliana, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. This was a real pleasure doing this with you. What some of the folks watching may not know is Juliana, first off, is a consummate professional in this. So we walked through campus. She told me things to add to the tour. What are some of the things she covers? Some of the things she's interested in. I can't give you enough credit for that, and I'm really looking forward to having you do this again with us. I hope.
Oh yeah, thank you for the opportunity. This is so much fun to do. I mean, I miss doing, like I was one of those people that do as many tours as possible during the week just because I think it's a fun thing to do. So this is really great to be able to still be doing and work on, during the semester. I love this. So.
All right, that's great. So Juliana, thanks again. And At this point, I want to say thank you to all of you for watching. This has been our first virtual campus tour of NJIT. There will be many more. Please stay tuned to our social media channels on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure to check out our website at njit.edu/alumni or njit.edu/development. If you have questions, please feel free to email us at alumni@njit.edu, or when you visit our website, make sure that you ask our chatbot a question. Finally, my name is Mike Smallin. I'm Executive Director of the Alumni Office at NJIT. I'm here to serve you, as is my office, as is the university. We are here to further engage you with our community. This is the first in many efforts that we hope to put forward in the near future. So I would love to hear your feedback. Email us, leave messages on our social media, contact me directly, and I look forward to welcoming you to the next one. Finally, the last thing I always like to say at the end of any one of our broadcasts, go Highlanders.